Hello there and welcome to this introduction to Fusion 360. This is intended to be a real kind of basic first introduction, assuming you've not really used the software much at all. Going to be a bit of an overview of some of the tools and features, and we will get into building a little keyring model shortly. So what is Fusion 360? It is a 3D modeling CAD package that allows us to design just about anything we can imagine, really. It's a very capable CAD package. It can do a whole range of different features. It's a very professional piece of software, and I guess one of the first things to say is there's a whole load of features within this that you won't necessarily need. So it's designed with industry in mind, and it goes just way above and beyond what we will need for our kind of GCSE level work. That said, it's fairly accessible. You will be able to get scripts with it and hopefully fairly quickly begin kind of building various shapes. But don't worry about all of the features. I don't know all of the features. You don't need to kind of get lost and confused picking your way through everything in here. Just follow the instructional videos, and we'll kind of highlight what you need to kind of be aware of and what you need to be able to do. So where to begin? I guess this big area in the middle is a good place as any to start. I'm just going to zoom out a little bit here, and you can see the edges of what is known as our work plane. That's a kind of virtual building environment, I guess. Our models will get built upon that. In the top right hand corner we have something called the view cube. It's quite helpful. We can click and drag this to kind of roll around our work. I'll show you another way to do that in a bit that is a little bit quicker and easier. With software like this, knowing the shortcuts and being able to kind of use the little quick keys and some of the mouse features makes the kind of designing process load smoother. But that's one option, and if you click on one of the faces you will look directly at that kind of view. So now I'm looking top down, and when you are looking flat you have the option to kind of rotate by 90 degrees. Home button's up there as well, really helpful, just to kind of revert you back to a kind of predefined standard view, and this is kind of what we begin with. The home little icon kind of disappears when your mouse isn't over it, so just if you can't see it you need to move your mouse over there and it reappears. A few little bits and pieces at the bottom. If you can't see the grid, it might be that the grid settings are slightly different on your computer. You just click here and you can select or unselect layout grid. I tend to have it on all the time when I'm working. And the only other thing you might want to change is the display settings. There's loads of different things to play with here, but as a standard we have shaded with visible edges only. But again, when you get more confident with the software, feel free to kind of play around, and a lot of your kind of proficiency with this software is going to come from playing around. There are video tutorials to watch and stuff for you to build, but actually just by kind of getting stuck in at some point and just playing and experimenting is really valuable. It's got our view cube in the top. We've got some kind of additional tools at the bottom. Most of the space you'll be kind of focusing on is up across here, and this is the area that we start to build in. Our creating tab with a whole load of features underneath. Our modifying tab. This is where we spend most of the time in create and modify. When we're doing more complex models, we might have multiple parts that we need to join together. Sometimes we need to create additional planes. So those are work planes, similar to this one, but offset for some reason, or at a tangent. Again, we don't need to look at those at the minute. There's some inspecting tools for measuring and doing stress analyses and all sorts of different bits and pieces. Again, way beyond what we'll be looking at today. Insert can be used for either decals, stickers like that Autodesk logo, and canvases and other bits and pieces. But again, we'll primarily be over in this area. Save, a file system to start new designs, and a sort of separate menu to move through the different parts of the software. So again, we will spend 99% of our time, 95% of our time in the design environment. That's where we build 3D stuff. A render environment is where we can make that look like a real world product by adding colors and materials. Manufacture, we might use a little bit for CAM operations, although we don't do it too much in school at the moment, but we do use drawings. That produces our technical drawings. Okay, so that's a super quick overview of the software. Let's get stuck in and we'll make a little keyring. The very first thing we always do is we press save, and you can choose which sort of subfolder you want to drop it into. I've got one just called schoolwork here. You can make a new folder if you like, but just the default folder will be fine for this. I'm going to call it keyring and press save. So you'll note over on the left there, this project has now been called keyring. It was previously just untitled. And good practice, although not essential for this, but for more complex models, a good habit to get into is to make a component. So I'm going to right click up here, make a new component. Let's press OK. You could name it there if you wished. I'm actually going to name it over here just by clicking once, twice, and then renaming it keyring. Again, not essential for what we're doing today, but it's a good habit to get into. Right, first thing we're going to do is create a two-dimensional sketch. The way Fusion works is you make a 2D sketch, square, cylinder, something more complex perhaps, and then we do what's called an extrusion, and we stretch that 2D shape into a 3D object. So I'm going to create sketch, and then it asks me to select which plane I wish to build on. Now 9 times out of 10 we build on this base plane down here between the red and the blue axes. Sometimes it's necessary to build on one of the two vertical planes. We usually build on the base. For some reason, some of the computers are set up in this kind of view. Doesn't really make any difference. It's that plane there that we're going to select. Flips it round so we're looking flat on at it. If for whatever reason that hasn't happened, you can simply click look at. So if it remains at that kind of an angle, you really want to be looking flat at the work. So press look at and it will roll round and you'll be looking flat at it. You'll note that the icons have changed. We're now in a sketch environment. This is the kind of sketching mode for the software. And again, we primarily stay in the create tab. And these are all of our shapes that we can build and the patterning and all the things that we're going to kind of go through in the other videos. We have the option to modify that sketch, some constraints. There's a whole lesson on that coming up where we look at the peg, making a little clothes peg, and that relies on lots of constraints. And again, we have an inspect tool for measuring and doing analysis, inserting, and an option to finish the sketch. I want you to select the rectangle tool. It's usually at the top. If not, use the drop down menu and find the 2-point rectangle. You're going to click once in the center and then single click once out to the right. It's not a case of clicking and dragging. You just click once to set and then once to release. I'm going to press escape. If you look next to my cursor, you can see there's the little rectangle tool. When I press escape, it drops that and I go back to just having a normal cursor. And I can click and drag this into any shape and size I want. Now I'd like this to be 50mm by 25mm. So I'm going to dimension this top line and this right hand line using the dimension tool here. It's also found in the create tab again at the bottom, or if you just press the D key on the keyboard. These letters are shortcuts. If you just press that letter, it'll bring up the toolbar. I'm going to click it now. So the reason it's automatically generated that vertical height is that I had that line selected. If I click off it, no line is selected, but because I had selected it, when I click the dimension tool, it instantly gave me a dimension. So a lot of little quirks in Fusion, a lot of little bits and pieces to get your head around. They can be frustrating initially, but you will get the hang of it pretty quickly as you get used to the software. I'm going to leave that at 63.441 at the minute. You can still see I've got the dimension tool selected. I'm going to click the top edge, and that's 137 mil. I'm going to change that to 50 and press enter, and then I'm going to double click that measurement and make that 25 and enter, and then finish the sketch. That's it, that's our first sketch all wrapped up and finished. We're then going to right click, press pull, click the object you wish to turn into a 3D shape. There's only one, so we're going to click that. These little windows on the right are really helpful. They kind of talk you through what to do, so it's asking you to make a selection. I do that, and now I'm doing an extrusion. I'm making it 3D. I've selected my profile, this rectangle, and it's asking what distance I want to extrude it to. We're going to make this 5mm. This is a really good time just to pause and show you a couple of the tools in Fusion to look around the work plane. These are the three ones you need to be aware of: zooming, panning, and tumbling. Zooming is pretty intuitive. You do it quite naturally. You roll the mouse wheel and that will zoom in and out. Quite helpfully, it zooms to where you hold the mouse. So if I push the mouse off to the right, it will zoom in over there. If I wish to focus on this bottom left corner, I put the mouse there, and as I roll in, I'll zoom in on the bottom left corner. Panning is again using the middle mouse wheel, but this time we click and hold it down. So the mouse wheel is a button, and if you click and hold, it will pan, it will drag this object around the page. And lastly, to tumble, to rotate the object, is the Shift key. It's the up arrow on the far left hand side of the keyboard, and again the middle mouse wheel. So I hold Shift first, middle mouse, and I can tumble it around, and you can see there's that 5mm distance that we just put in. Now you could drag that and have kind of free form control over it. It's jumping in 5 mils because I'm not all that zoomed in. If I zoomed in a little bit more, it would allow me to increase in single millimeters, or obviously you can type it in over here. 5 mils what we want. Okay, there's our first basic shape. I'm going to press the home button now just to make sure I'm looking at it in the right sort of orientation. I'm going to do another sketch, and now I have the option of a flat surface as well. We always start by doing a sketch, we draw the shape, and then we extrude that shape. So you could draw on one of these flat planes again, but now I have an object. I'm going to draw on it, and we're going to draw on the top face. So now for this, we're just going to have a bit of a play around with it, really. We're going to learn about some of these new shapes, and we're just going to start at the top and make our way down through them. So we'll go to the rectangle first, and we're going to draw a 2-point rectangle. We click once, twice, and there's our 2-point rectangle. We could do a 3-point rectangle. For this, you have 3 points. You click once, twice, 3 times. We're going to create a center rectangle. As you hover over them, you'll see there's a little detail box that gives you some information about what's going to happen, what it needs. So this creates a rectangle using 2 points to define the center and 1 corner. So I click once, that is the center, and as I drag out, I define, in this case, the top right corner. I'm going to do some circles. You don't need to know all of these. I'm just going to show you a couple of them. The center circle, use that most of the time. I'm going to click once, that defines the center point, and we drag out for the diameter. A 2-point circle, you click once, and as you drag out, you define the opposite side of the circle. And so on. You can play with these to your heart's content. 3-point circle, 1, 2, 3 clicks. Play around, draw some various shapes. There's the arc tool, where you can make kind of curves. All of the shapes on Fusion that you wish to extrude have to be complete shapes. By that I mean you couldn't extrude that. It has to be a solid shape. You could do something like this, and it would allow you to extrude that middle portion there. You can't extrude the single lines, but you can extrude what's kind of contained within them. All sorts of bits and pieces here. Play around. Ellipses and slots, they take some getting used to. If you hover, it will tell you the next instruction. So as I'm moving around, there's nothing there, I stop, it tells me to place the center point. I stay still again, and it says place the first axis point. I then place a point on the ellipse. I just drag out and places a point on that shape. When you're happy with your shapes, I will just show you actually one more thing. You can put text on, which is it's a bit of a funny tool, the text tool. It's a little bit tricky to use. You click and drag to make a box. You can then write in your initials or anything you wish for, rotate it around, make it a little bit smaller if you wish, and press OK, and at that point you can drag that shape. I'm then going to right click, press pull, and pick up these various objects that I wish to extrude. You don't have to do them all, you don't have to do many of them, just whichever you wish. And you could click the lettering as well. And we'll just bring that up 1 millimeter. I didn't select the lettering there. There we go. Okay. Going to do that again. Create sketch on the flat face. I'm going to draw a little circle. Just kind of free-forming, not really adding too many dimensions here, just playing around. And again, right click, press pull. Click the object you wish to extrude, and you could drag it up and out, or you could drag it down and in. Note the operation. It's a join, it's adding material. As I drag it down and in, it becomes a cut, and I'm cutting away material, it's making a hole. If I drag it all the way through, it's going to put a hole all the way through. And the last little thing we're going to have a play with is the fillet tool. We're going to just modify, click the edges, just the four outer edges, and drag this in. We'll just put a bit of a radius on. There you go, a really simple little keyring. You could 3D print that and have a little keyring to carry with you. So there you go, super fast introduction to Fusion. Most of the time we're doing accurate work, we're using the constraints, we're having dimensions, but this was just really a means of playing around with some of the sketching tools to get used to the process of create sketch on a flat surface. You could do it on the side if you wanted. Draw a shape, any shape you want. Right click, press pull, select that object, and then either drag it out to add material, drag it in to cut away material. There you go. A little intro to Fusion for you.